There is a sentence you can say today, a shift in your presence, that will make people lean in, listen closer, and want more of you. Imagine walking into a room and without trying too hard, without begging for attention, eyes naturally find you, not because you're the loudest, not because you're the richest, but because you radiate something most people lack. Magnetic confidence. Confidence so strong that when you speak, even once, people feel compelled to chase your energy. This is not a fantasy. This is not some magic line whispered in the dark. This is a reality that belongs to those who learn the psychology of presence, the art of belief, and the science of how attraction works. Confidence is not about arrogance. It is not about pretending to be someone you're not. True confidence is quiet. It doesn't scream, "Look at me." It whispers, "I know who I am." And the truth is, most men today are silently struggling, not because they don't have potential, but because they've been conditioned to doubt themselves, to overthink, to second guess, to wait for the world's approval, instead of creating their own standard. And so they shrink, they hesitate, and in the process they lose the magnetic pull that could have made them unforgettable. But here's the turning point. Once you decide to build magnetic confidence, everything changes. People start to treat you differently, opportunities appear, relationships deepen, strangers remember you, and you begin to realize it's not luck, it's not genetics, it's not fate, it's a mindset you built brick by brick. That's why as you listen now, I want you to make a decision that you will no longer hide behind excuses, no longer silence your potential, and no longer give fear the steering wheel of your life. Because when you finally show up as the man you were meant to be, the world cannot ignore you. And if you're ready to grow on this journey of becoming unstoppable, then subscribe our channel, Next Gen Emotive, because this is where transformation begins, and you don't want to walk this path alone. Now let's talk about the truth most men avoid. Confidence is not built by rehearsing in front of a mirror for hours. It is not faked by memorizing pickup lines or copying someone else's swagger. Confidence is built when your actions finally align with your words, when your values match your behavior, and when your presence reflects the battles you've already conquered. The reason people feel drawn to a confident man is not because of his words alone, but because they sense his story. They sense that he has faced struggle, he has endured pain, and yet he refuses to be broken. Ask yourself, when you walk into a room, do you carry the weight of your doubts or the power of your victories? Do people feel your hesitation, or do they feel your certainty? Confidence is not about speaking louder, it's about carrying energy that says, "I belong here, and I don't need permission to be myself." That's the sentence, the unspoken line that makes people chase you. I belong here. Say it once, believe it deeply, and everything shifts. Here's the surprising truth. People are not attracted to perfection. They are attracted to authenticity mixed with certainty. You don't need to be the tallest, the richest, or the most handsome man in the room. What you need is presence. A man who believes in himself makes others believe in him. Why? Because humans are wired to follow certainty. We are drawn to leaders, to those who don't hesitate, to those who walk as though the ground beneath their feet belongs to them. That doesn't mean ego. It means quiet ownership of your existence. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone less talented than you, less intelligent, less hardworking, yet they still win opportunities, relationships, admiration, and you wonder why them, not me? The answer is simple. They believed they deserved it. While you hesitate, they moved with confidence. While you doubted, they said once, with certainty, "This is who I am," and the world followed. Meanwhile, you kept explaining, overthinking, and waiting for approval. This is the painful truth many avoid, but it's also the liberating truth that can set you free today. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who grew up quiet, shy, always in the background. He thought attraction belonged to the tall, the wealthy, the flash. He tried copying others, tried hiding his weaknesses, but nothing worked. One day he decided to stop chasing and instead to own who he was. He stood taller, not to look bigger, but to breathe fully. He spoke slower, not to sound dramatic, but because he finally believed his words had weight. And when people asked about him, he didn't explain endlessly. He answered simply, and with certainty. Suddenly people began leaning in. Friends sought his advice. Women remembered his presence. Strangers respected his voice. What changed? Not his looks, not his bank account. What changed was his energy, his self-belief. Now ask yourself, what would your life look like if you built that kind of confidence? How would people treat you differently if you finally stopped apologizing for existing? How many opportunities have already passed you by, not because you weren't worthy, but because you doubted yourself at the wrong moment? Confidence is a magnet, doubt is a repellent. Every time you doubt yourself, you push people away. Every time you believe in yourself, you draw people close. This is why building magnetic confidence is not optional. It is the foundation of every relationship, every career move, every dream you chase. But let me break this down into psychology you can apply today. The human brain is wired for mirror. When you feel nervous, others feel awkward around you. When you feel secure, others feel relaxed in your presence. That's why people are drawn to confidence. It gives them certainty, it gives them safety, it gives them energy they want to keep around. You don't have to say much. In fact, sometimes silence is more powerful. When you can sit calmly in silence, smile with ease, and carry stillness without fidgeting, people sense you are in control of yourself. And a man who controls himself automatically attracts others. Here's another bold truth. Most men sabotage themselves because they talk too much, explain too much, prove too much. But magnetic confidence requires restraint. When you can say less, yet mean more, people lean in. When you can hold your ground without begging for attention, people note. When you can walk away without fear of losing someone, they chase you, because the greatest power is not in needing others. It is in becoming someone others need. Confidence is also built through discipline. The way you treat your body, your habits, your goals, all of it reflects in your presence. If you neglect yourself, if you break promises to yourself, your subconscious knows, and no matter how hard you try to act confident, your body will reveal the truth. That's why magnetic confidence comes from integrity with yourself. When you say, "I'll wake up early," and you do it, your spirit strengthens. When you say, "I'll train my body," and you do it, your posture changes. When you say, "I'll chase my dream," and you take action, your eyes gain a spark others can't ignore. So what should you do today? Start small, pick one promise to yourself, and keep it. Then another. Confidence is not built in one night. It's built in layers of self-trust. Every layer makes you stronger. Every victory, no matter how small, adds weight to your presence. Soon you'll find yourself speaking less, but meaning more. Walking quieter, but commanding attention. Smiling with calmness, but radiating power. And remember this, people chase what they can't easily have. When you show up with magnetic confidence, you don't overgive, you don't over-explain, you don't overshare, you let people earn your attention. You let them wonder what drives you, you let them feel the weight of your silence. That's why the thumbnail says, "Say this once and they'll chase you," because when you declare with certainty, "I belong here, I am enough, I move with purpose," people feel it, and they cannot help but want more of you. Confidence is not about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself. It's about becoming the man whose presence speaks before his mouth does. It's about knowing that whether one person applauds you, or 1,000 ignore you, your value doesn't change. And when you finally live in that truth, attraction is no longer forced, it is inevitable. So my message to you is simple. Stop waiting, stop shrinking, stop apologizing. Build your confidence one decision at a time. Walk with ownership. Speak with calm certainty. And remember, the moment you believe you belong, others will believe it too. That's when you'll see the power of magnetic confidence. That's when you'll say it once, and they'll chase you.